of Boom, and something that may be in T1's hands. They also need, and so I referenced earlier that
position kaya kantutan na ignition kahit anong klaseng position kaya ikaw ay tumihaya paupo o padaba ilabas nyo na puki nyo ito ng burat ko lumuot sa aking harapan susuhin nyo titik ko kantutan na ignition kahit anong klaseng position kaya ikaw ay tumihaya paupo o padaba ilabas nyo na puki nyo ito ng burat ko lumuot sa aking harapan susuhin nyo titik ko kantutan na ignition kahit anong klaseng position kaya ikaw ay tumihaya paupo o padaba ilabas nyo na puki nyo ito ng burat ko lumuot sa akin harapan susuhin nyo titik ko.
It's the remix to Game 1, hot and fresh out the kitchen. We got Game 2 of Boom versus T1 coming up soon, but I hope you all enjoyed those sweet, sweet sounds of Whitemon. Like you said, he's quite the vocalist, Black, and I think he proved it right there. I still don't know what the context was. It said in the YouTube description he was challenged by Cuckoo. I don't know what the challenge was for, but...
To do it all in one breath?
That's what it sounded like, because he was out of breath at the end. He was like... Probably because he wasn't sitting in a secret lab chair. If he had that top quality comfort, he wouldn't have been out of breath.
It helps with breathing too.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's a Porsche. It's a Porsche.
Exactly.
Like, I could even turn into a dumbbell once when I needed it.
Into a dumbbell?
Yeah. I was like,
so
chair, I
some
need
curling?
to lift weights. And it suddenly turned into a massive dumbbell.
For me, it turned into a bench, and it had dumbbells as well.
Okay.
And the armrests were actually like the security bars, you know, that you can
of course.
put it back on.
The chair is amazing.
It's a transformer. You just have to treat it properly.
Yeah, believe in it.
Yeah,
believe in the heart of the cards.
Do you believe in T1?
Hard to believe in too.
I'm with you, man.
After this game 1 especially, it did not look good. Draft did not look good. Gameplay looked decent sometimes.
Yeah, at the beginning.
But then mid-game was pretty rough around the edges.
The plan was we were going to crush them in the mid lane, mid-game with 3 Ion Shells and Diagonals and Darkseer. But
Yeah, with the triple null talisman build on Darkseer.
yeah, but that just never comes. I mean, it's nice to experiment, but it's so much easier when you to play when you have an actual win condition tried and tested, such as the IO. Like so many times before, banned every single game almost of the major, and banned for a reason.
And now it's banned again?
Yeah.
Not surprising.
We'll see, we'll see.
Okay, Tsunami.
What's up?
Lizard. How many IOs does it take?
To screw in a light bulb?
Do you remember the joke?
No, wait. Oh, I was just making something up. No.
Okay, yes, that's one.
How many IOs does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Yeah. And you have to answer too.
There's usually like a
think
traditional
about
setup, like 1, and the gyro screws it in for you or something.
That's wrong.
Oh, okay.
Your turn.
IO is the light bulb.
No, it doesn't matter because they have no hands. They can't screw it in.
Game number 2, IO is banned out, Puck is banned out as well.
Yeah. We're going to probably see a Beastmaster here by either who has the first pick? Wait.
T1 has the first pick.
Okay, T1.
So Boom better ban
Boom.
the Beastmaster.
They
The-
banned Puck and Beast.
So here we have to see if Boom wants to play game 3 or or not. If they ban out the
More
Beastmaster,
practice.
yeah. If they ban out the Beastmaster, they probably want to win the second game. If they don't ban it out, yeah, we might see something that's not really Dota.
Unless if it's the disrespect play where they're like, you can't even beat us even if you had Beastmaster.
Or you just pick anti-mage against it.
Have we seen that as an answer yet?
No.
Because it's not a good one.
It's a decent one.
It's not a decent
It's just
one.
ban it.
Hey.
That's the best way to go about it. T1.
Centaur again.
This time T1 grabs.
Phoenix is banned though.
Ooh, FBZ Timbersaw.
They like this answer to the Centaur. When I say answer, they like the hero against Timbersaw.
Yeah, it's a comfort thing for FBZ, and then it's just
Can't Centaur Timber go like both ways though? If Centaur is really fat, the double edge is quite a bit of damage.
In the lane, it can, right? Like at some point you can.
I think
you
even
can
in
kill
mid game,
him. Yeah.
like 3 double edges. What's the cooldown? 4 seconds?
yeah. But this, I mean, Timbersaw doesn't need to get a Vanguard, so he can just get Hood first.
Sure,
Unlike
sure,
all
sure.
the other offlaners who are like, I gotta get this Vanguard.
I'm just saying, like Centaur actually has potential to deal a lot of damage.
Oh, this is actually a hero that
Need more
I
magic damage.
in the Chinese region and the SEA we don't see a lot, but in
Why not?
Europe it's picked. They just didn't catch on to the hero, I believe.
It's really strong. It goes
Yeah.
buffed so much.
I think Lina right now in position 4 just dominates the lane hard. It used to do that. It was pretty much the same.
3 months ago,
Yeah.
before it was buffed. Yeah.
Before it was buffed, it used to do the same thing. It just wasn't picked that much because you had Shadow Shamans and Lions that were much stronger.
I think it got buffed 3 times since then. Like the damage on the stun, the radius on the stun, the mana cost on the stun,
Fiery Soul, which is more geared towards core Lina.
No,
but
actually
good
the
on both.
passive, the passive is actually pretty good for a support in the lane.
Yeah.
You
At
just
level 2, you just out-trade anyone.
exactly. You
because
don't,
that was the skill build, is people would take 1 point LSA and then 2nd point Fiery Soul, and they
Exactly.
would just trade like
Yeah,
crazy.
and then 3 points Dragon's Life. It's kind of just how to play in mid, except you have like an offlaner plus a laner. Like Centaur, Lina, you get 1 stomp on.
you're dead.
can die
pretty
very
much,
easily.
yeah. They banned out the Life Stealer. They don't want to play against that as it's pretty much the best hero at the moment versus the Centaur. There are some other ones like Monkey and Ursa and whatnot, but I don't think they're nearly as strong. We'll
I mean,
see.
Monkey fell out of favor completely.
Yeah, and yet
ever
we're
since-
continuously seeing Monkey bans and not Ursa bans, which is weird, because I thought that Monkey completely fell off because his Aghanim Scepter is just no longer as good as it once was. But Ursa's keep slipping through.
That's actually very strange for me because at least for me, when I start my game, if I'm not playing Ursa, I'm banning it out like
Yeah.
every single time. I think that carry is pretty solid at the moment.
Especially with the second Roche Aghanim's Shard thing. Because Ursa's Shard is good, but it generally wasn't worth building.
Yeah, you don't want to buy
When
it.
you
It's
say
1400
good,
gold.
I'd argue it's like borderline broken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
For
it's
free.
pretty broken.
Is it broken for 1400? Like, is it, as far as carry shards go,
And the thing is, with the level 20 talent, you have what, like 9 seconds cooldown on it?
with
So
the Earth Shock?
Yeah, so you're
Yeah.
basically perma-enraged for like almost 6-7 seconds.
Yeah, you're just roaring.
It's-
You're just screaming at people.
And you
Yeah.
never know. Did you just ult or did you Earth Shock? Like if your camera's not on him, he doesn't have enrage. No, he has enrage. He has enrage.
Especially against a hero like Timbersaw, where you're going to get a bunch of Fury Swipes. Okay, they ban it.
Yeah, they ban it.
No need to theory
You,
craft.
you don't also want to play against Ursa if you're a Timbersaw.
No.
So these two heroes kind of
They ban all the heroes that lane decently.
decently into both.
The first Warlock in Southeast Asia, China. This hero has been so popular in North America and Europe, and not banned, not picked, utterly ignored in the regions that we've been covering.
Yeah, but these are also the regions that should look up to SEA and
It's
China
true.
and take from them, not the other way around. After the major, at least.
You should.
So we're gonna see what a Spectre Warlock lane. Maybe.
Yeah, Spectre was a very, very traditional pairing that I've seen in all the regions that have been picking Warlock.
I mean, there's a lot of decent heroes with Warlock.
It's still pretty dangerous into Lina and Centaur lane, right?
Yeah.
Like doesn't
Centaur
matter.
in general kind of destroys Spectre in lane.
So it's good, but you can still be crushed even with the Shadow Word spam. It's not that strong. Okay, another one that we don't really see often, but it's so strong versus Warlock and Lion. Like
Yeah.
you have 2 targets throughout the whole game.
Of course, the classic.
The Spectre, yep. It's good versus Clockwork as
I
well.
have dispersion. I heal you. Okay, you farm.
Yeah, and then team fights come along. Fatal Bonds plus Haunt.
Morph.
A lot of damage.
Into the Spectre.
Morph makes a lot of sense against Timbersaw though.
Yeah, but
It's a bit
into the
scary against
Spectre.
mine.
I
Yeah,
actually hate that matchup for
it's
Morphling.
not great, yeah, because you build Blade Mail and Dispersion.
And the Scuddy eventually as well. Like all
And
your
Manta
items,
Style.
everything that you're buying is good versus Morphling. It's
Yeah.
about the itemization, really.
I think they just picked it because it lanes well into Timber Saw, and all the others were kind of banned. I think they're banking on the fact that Centaur Lina will give them a hard time no matter what.
Yeah. This is a 5 clockwork, by the way, or at least we're expecting that.
Yeah.
A 5 clock with the Morphling on the safe lane.
I saw that at Team Liquid. Mickey had like 5 CS on Spectre when Centaur had like 30.
Yeah.
It can be a really rough matchup.
So even though Spectre, in our opinion, is strong versus Morphling, if Morphling just pulls out of control, then it's still hard for the Spectre to make an impact.
So what mid does T1 need? I wouldn't mind some... Actually, they have a pretty well-rounded draft already.
You see
Please
from
turn to
these
ban.
bars, they've got tower damage, they've
So
got
some
team
Sand
fight,
King,
they've got
right, mid lane
lockdown.
for T1.
Just to intentionally handicap themselves.
I'm down if he builds BKB, I'm down.
It wouldn't even be that bad, you know, you're playing with the Morphling.
No,
double Sand.
Please
saw
turn
that,
back.
saw that Aghanim's Morphling.
All right, great to get to know Thompson a little bit more. We are also on the other side of the
that
house.
one game, like the most defensive Morphling possible, and he had an ET and Sand King on his team, and he kept turning into Sand King.
Yeah, so
Don't
the
give me
problem, the
Sand King.
problem that you have if you're T1 right now is you do not have the last pick, right? So your mid lane needs to be picked accordingly so that it isn't countered by one hero completely.
They just need
You
like a
have to
stable
keep
hero
that
that
in
doesn't
mind,
lose lane, right?
Yeah. You also have Morphling option. That's also something. If the lane is really bad for the hero that you picked, you can maybe swap it up a little bit, put the Morphling mid lane.
Ban out Batrider, so maybe a melee mid laner, maybe a Void Spirit.
Batrider and Viper banned out. I'm actually surprised T1 are the ones that ban out Bat. Maybe picking it wouldn't be that horrible.
Yeah, especially
Into
against
the
the Timber
Timber,
Saw.
yeah. And also it's a hero that, yeah, you can lose the lane, but you'll catch up and you'll do your thing no matter what.
I mean, Void Spirit seems to be
The one,
the obvious answer.
Yeah.
the only left of the mid lane spirits.
I mean, I would love Earth Spirit as well, I just don't know if he plays it or not.
Oh,
Necro. I actually thought about Necro, but
That's perfect, right? It's pretty solid.
the thing is, it's quite risky against Warlock. Like, the reason why I like Void Spirit is because you can jump on the Warlock also. Like, you can't just solely
Right.
rely on a Clockwork to jump
But
on it, I
you
think.
you have Morphling, Clockwork, and Centaur for that, right? Like you do have backline reachers, more or less. So maybe the mid laner can be a Necro.
What about some good old SF?
Just blow him up.
I think SF destroys Necron lane as well.
How do you keep SF alive, though? There's so many people who jump on him.
No, you got Rock, you got Lion backup. Not the
but-
best.
How are you going to get out of cogs?
The thing is, like, what else are you gonna pick against
Just
Necro?
go Pugna.
Partner is
You're into clock, which is
and into Morph, it's
yeah,
too
it's
risky.
the same. It's the same problem,
Yeah,
right?
Why
same
don't they
thing.
go Void Spirit?
no against Necro is a terrible lane.
Yeah, but for the game, I feel like the silence will be pretty
It's just
great.
the thing is like they're playing to dominate lanes on T1, right? Like if you lose that spec lane really hard and the mid lane really hard, then it's gonna be tough for you to transition to a mid game.
That's what you were saying in game one, though. And T1 won all the lanes, and
get
then they
some
still
OD.
lost.
Well, they didn't get stomped though. They lost the lanes, but they didn't get like super stomped.
True.
Look,
yeah.
OD, you have a save versus Necro ulti.
OD, I could
Really
see
good
OD
versus
potentially.
Morphling.
Yeah, actually.
The Meteor Hammer actually is pretty solid versus Necro as well.
Like all the traditional Necro counters are kind of afraid of Clock.
That's the problem, exactly. But the clock is a 5, so you have to kind of think, if he's the 5, then I can't really worry about him that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also true.
How does Invoker do against Necro?
Not the greatest.
Yeah. You would have a Vessel Builder at least. And good call, Tsunami, damn.
I actually don't know why they picked it. I was just
Just a
thinking about their
mid lane Invoker, sure,
exactly.
let's go with it.
The only thing I could think of is a Tornado purchase off Ghost Shroud, and EMP is going to be kind of annoying.
And he builds a Vessel,
And he
right?
builds
Versus
Vessel, yeah,
Morphling versus
exactly.
Necro.
It's
so.
decent. It's just like Necro doesn't really care about your presence.
Wait, this
ever.
is
All game long,
Carlina.
or
This
just
is
in the lane?
Carlina, guys.
In the lane, mostly the Ice
Oh,
Wall gets
yeah.
annoying in the mid
Wait,
game.
wait, wait. It's Carlina.
It's
Oh, it's an
Cuckoo
offlane
Necro.
Necro. Okay,
It's
that makes a
offlane
lot
Necro.
more sense then. And it's post 4 Centaur.
Yeah.
We have seen it a lot like 2 years ago.
What?
Position 4 Centaur with an offlane Necro. Okay, you're laning into the Spectre,
It's a
so
good
that
lane
lane,
for
lanes
Necro.
should still be pretty solid. Lina should have a nice time mid lane.
I think this is beyond your two's brain power. B-Cop, Lacoste, can we get some consultation on what is going on here? Or
Such a compliment of my brain power. Oh, well.
give me the brain
That
power,
ended pretty
B-Cop.
Brain plow.
How do you feel about 4-position Centaur? Okay,
Not
we're
as
not
good as-
asking you anymore. Lacoste, what do you feel about 4-position Centaur?
This
I
was
need
a
more brain
thing
power.
2018.
couple of years ago. Yeah, I think it was doable. I remember also Puppy playing it as position 5. Maybe there is some good stuff to it. I'm just trying to think of what, like, because his ulti is now 90-second cooldown, but you're not gonna be as tanky. I would love him to be paired up with maybe something different, with a slow, with a stun. Necro doesn't provide you with that, but yeah, Necro should have a really good game on the bottom, nonetheless. Like, it's that they can't kill Necro. That's the thing. And the EMP is annoying coming out from the mid lane. Not too much magic damage. It's gonna be Quasvex Invoker with the Spirit Vessel against the Necro, against the Morphling. I'm still leaning towards Boom Esports in this one.
Yeah, I'm going Boom as well. I think the Spectre Warlock, it's very, very successful in other regions. Lizard, how
Yeah,
about you?
same. Sticking with it. Spectre Warlock.
Black?
Yeah,
Sign me
same,
up.
sticking with it.
All right,
Spectre
we're all
Warlock.
booming it up. B-Cop.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
What's
no,
your call? You
I'm a
booming?
follower.
Let's boom it.
That's cool.
Okay, so
really
do you want then?
Kill you all.
Of my brain power. Oh. Not as good as. Okay.
This
I
was
need
a
more brain
thing
power.
couple of years ago. Yeah, I think it was doable. I remember also Puppy playing it as position 5. Maybe there is some good stuff to it. I'm just trying to think of what, like, because his ulti is now 90-second cooldown, but you're not gonna be as tanky. I would love him to be paired up with maybe something different, with a slow, with a stun. Necro doesn't provide you with that, but yeah, Necro should have a really good game on the bottom. Why we're not seeing it in China and Southeast Asia, because the hero had you got plus, and then she got nerfed, which is a bit too OP. Yeah.
Zeus it was always. And your spike landing. 3 lanes on camera right now.
This should be a good lane. Like Lion should try to stack a camp, possibly, you know, get a help on a mid lane. Has mana drain, so not too much kill potential with the drain. But if you get a point in Hex, then you can set things up with Tornado, wrap around. You want to leave XP to the Timber Saw. So let's see where Hyde wants to go. Has a as well.
Taken out. Yeah, so we'll keep our eyes on Hyde. We've also got Bottom, Cuckoo. For right now, it's just kind of sustained.
Yeah, they can't do too much to this Necro. Warlock doesn't provide you with much damage. You know, he can be annoying with the Fatal Bonds, but Necro should have died in this lane. Both Spectre and Necro will be able to farm in this lane. I don't think we're going to see too much action happening.
Well, St. lands on to Makoto. Quick's coming in. He needs to be very careful.
He needs help on the mid lane because, exactly, it's getting very hard for him. Dragon Slave actually connects. Rune will spawn. Can't even control that. Toto brought to Tango, has infused Raindrop. He blocked the big
Jump
camp.
on him.
He
Yeah.
blocked the ancient camp. That cannot be stacked.
Hard to notice because not only did he get that, but the Kings are doing those. The lane is not as good as how the Spectres is going bottom. You see, the one who's really struggling, and we talked about it already, is just the Invoker.
He uses full combo. Tornado, EMP, Cold Snap, just to get some mana back, a bit of harassment on Lina, and gets 1 CS out of it. Tries to zone him out of the lane. Lina stacking the small camp for herself. Centaur will refill the bottle on a mid.
Blade coming out. I wouldn't be surprised. Carl rotate off them. Cuckoo, they've got the Earth Spike. They have the damage. Fatal Bonds connected to all these creeps as well as Cuckoo. White
Kescute is dead.
If the hook stops, he'll die. Well, there for Zephyr. They're looking for more of a battery assault once on Hyde. Pretty late.
the tri-lane that I talked about. They feed a first blood to T1. Zephyr has another stun available. I love the build on Cuckoo. Has magic wand, casual cloak. Understand that the damage they have is magical. Holding a fairy fire. Just wants to be able to tank up. They use the healing salve on him as well. Now he's back to full HP. Spectre does not like to play into Necro. Like, this has been the counter to Spectre throughout the history of Dota. Just, you're the hero that wants to play on like low HP, and Necro does not allow you to do that. This time around, they have no real saves against the Reaper's side. You and me were talking about like what could potentially be the last pick for Boom. A panel also discussed about it. Lizard said, you know, OD. I think that would have been much better choice than the Invoker, where you like get a bit of tower damage, you have a setup for a Meteor Hammer, and then you have a save against the Reaper side. Necro does not like to play into any of these matchups, like Shadow Demon, OD, Oracle. It's just very hard for him to find an opportunity to use that Reaper side.
Yeah, that was my thought too. Maybe even do something a little bit different and go into a mid Shadow Demon, but the Invoker pick kind of leaves me a bit baffled. I understand what they want from it, but we've seen how strong the OD's been.
My problem with Phosphex Invoker is, especially if you're playing into bad matchup, like, you need to make the right rotation. You misuse one of the rotations, you don't get the charge on your urn, and then it becomes problematic. Savage turning into Timbersaw, that's one way to counter him. You have this pure damage coming up from him, but very low on mana. Both heroes, pretty much.
Timber's got the Soul Ring. D-ward from White Monk. Exactly where that ward is. The ward that they have on the high ground is just out of the vision of the center. As well as the EMP. Do a lot there. Drain a little bit of mana.
Very limited on damage early on from Boom. Spectre doesn't provide you with much. Haunt is available right now. Invoker, he needs that Urn of Shadow charge to be able to get the kill. Zephyr getting chased. Necro will heal him once.
Get the kill with the... What's on this? 6, and we'll use the Haunt just to secure the kill.
I think it's worth it. Yeah, just 200 gold for Spectre, some XP. Also it's done. Soul Ring down, going into Blade Mail. Like, Blade Mail feels natural. It's your also farming fuel from Spectre. Lion still lurking around the mid lane, but he got spotted by that ward.
That's just out of the sentry, like I said before, and you see FD just staying in the base. He's not really shutting down his farm completely. If he could get a kill on this Morphling, maybe it would, but he's falling just short every time.
MPZ being annoying on top lane, that is all. He should not be able to die on Morphling. Has a couple of magic stick charges, has a Fairy Fire, decides to TP out. They need to bring one extra hero, possibly to stun him, surprise him with the Lion. Both supports kind of under-leveled for Boom, level 4. And both of these heroes rely heavily on getting that dome, being able to do stuff with their level 6.
Not too far in terms of experience behind. That worth though. So nothing too crazy because neither hero has really rotated to get a kill yet. A bit surprising Carl hasn't done. Would have expected him to move, go throw a good way, get a quick kill somewhere.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Like the Warlock.
KDPs just continues to farm the jungle, working towards the Yule Scepter. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Kescute collecting some XP. I guess, yeah, Lion took the dome because Warlock is getting some levels on the bottom. I thought how important it is that both of these heroes get the level 6. Still saving a point. Before, people who were listening to me, I know there aren't many people, but I always said, if you put another point, if you put more than 2 points in Shadow Word, you don't know how to play the Warlock. Now it's a bit of a different thing, you know, with the introduction of the shard. I don't mind seeing more points.
Let chaos reign.
More than 1 point, or more than...
Sometimes it was even like 1 point. If the lane is going well, you don't need it, because
Dire's
Fatal
middle
Bonds
tower is
and
under attack.
Upheaval are your best abilities. Warlock has some really nice talents on level 15. Minus 5 seconds on the Shadow Word, or plus 40 Upheaval DPS. I like how it said, you know, plus 40 because it deals none. Whitemon, well done.
Taken out by Makoto.
Not much done by this Clockwork position 5. I mean, Whitemon, if he doesn't find success in his Dota career, he can always try to be a singer. We saw what he can do. We heard what he can do.
Yeah. There are shows out there. The Voice, Masked Singer, Idol, Talent, The World. It's got a lot of options. Hook shot out. Wants to make plays. Ricochet all the way over, and Makoto. Oh, what a play! They're gonna walk away. They've got the Hex out on with Clockwork. They're moving on to Carl, so this is a two-pronged attack. They'll take out Whitemon. They'll bring over Cuckoo. But Cuckoo really can't do anything to this team, and they're going to get the kill on a Whitemon.
So Spectre uses the Haunt. As Illusion comes, shares some damage from the Battery Assault, and he is able to get out. Warlock uses the heal. There's also Urn of Shadow Charge. Invoker's in a good spot, you know. Still in the middle of the pack, but considering how he was struggling early on, I think this is very good. Next item should be the Spirit Vessel to be able to deal with the Morphling, deal with the Necro, and then you can transition more points into Exort. I believe. I don't think they need, like, Invoker plus Vex can build a lot of different items. I wouldn't mind seeing something like a Force Staff as well, which is okay, and then, you know, get the, like, big item. They have a decent setup with the Cataclysm. Not too many stuns, but yeah, Lion can keep them in place. Like, if you use it preemptively, follow it up with the Rock, would make it work.
And just the way the lane went, I'm surprised that Makoto is the one who's getting more out of the game right now over Carl. Feels like Carl's been a little bit too stationary.
Yeah, Carl 0-0-0 on Lena. Good shot, misses again.
Got the Earth Spike as he morphs into the Lion. Carl gets a kill, as I say that he...
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Gets the first kill finally. He skipped the talent. Like, Dragon Slave talent is a big fate on this duel. Even when you're playing 4, you still deal a ton of damage. Like, 30 damage just feels so good, especially once the Fiery Soul is maxed out. Those 2 extra seconds that you got.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Spectre's just farming the entire time. Yeah, the Blade Mail, I say farming the entire, but got involved using that Haunt both times. For the most part, using that Blade Mail to really up the farm and try and get towards the top, not too far away from where Cuckoo is. He's sitting top of the network, quietly sitting. Haven't seen a Reaper Scythe slam down yet. And doing his thing. Over, cold tap, and he gets used. The Earth Spike, Finger, and Zephyr taken out with ease.
I mean, position 4 Centaur. He's having okay, you know, farm for a position 4 Cent. He maxed out the Retaliate, farmed the jungle a bit, and now working towards the Blink Dagger. So that's gonna be their another form of initiation on top of Clockwork.
Shot on his cue. Coming over, Dragon. Reaper Sight is there. Will be used on the Warlock. He's dead. Not sure it's entirely felt when you use it on the Warlock like that.
We still haven't seen Rock being used.
No, not yet.
I guess they just feel very comfortable playing this into like mid game, not losing too much out of the match. Right now it's pretty even, and yeah, when you have Spectre in the team, you're like, you know, we're good to go. Working towards that Manta style into Scotty. He already knows what he wants to go for. Great to reduce the healing from Necro. Great to reduce the healing from this Morphling, and just with the Manta style online, there's a possibility that you can go inside a bit, because it also like Dispersion and Desolate. Like Desolate most importantly works on illusion, so you can take some.
NATO Meteor and Cold Snap on is forced to use this thing. Fighting in. First Spike with the adaptive strike to get the kill out on the high. Sunstrike down on a White Mom, but no way to stop the TP. T1. Morphling starting to really move around the map and get these pickups that he's really enjoying getting. Top of the net worth at the moment, too.
Necro also having a good time. You need to upgrade boots on Necro. Like, Necro feels so slow, even with Power Threads.
Dire's top tower.
Power Threads plus Yule Scepter, 320 movement speed? What? Like, this hero is not moving. I thought it's gonna be like around 330, 335, maybe?
Just 320.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So Shadow Word is maxed out. Okay.
How do you feel?
Okay. You know, I still prefer, because you can put points later on, and it's a lot of damage, it's a lot of heal mid lane.
The shot is, but they've got the hook stop coming through. They'll have Cox to wrap around FBC with the air spike hitting out of the Necro. Already at about half mana. They rip apart White Mom with FBC, and they're still chasing. Let's say right clicks from Carl Laguna Blade, and the chaotic offering down on top of Cuckoo and Carl, but no follow-up to it.
That wasn't even close. Like, this Timbersaw is going to be full HP. Like, even if Lena had Aghanim Scepter at this point, like, the pure damage wouldn't kill him.
Wow. Yeah, alright, Laguna Blade used in chaotic offering to.
Yeah, seems like we had some issues with the stream. Stream seemed to be down, but we're now back. Potentially because Warlock put more than 2 points in Shadow Word. So the stream went down.
That's the power of putting 2 in the Shadow Word, or more than 2 in Shadow Word.
Oh, and he finds it. This is the dream for Warlock. Finds the Village Stone. 80 GPM.
He's not taking much damage here. Hook shot, Cuckoo destroyed. Now they've got the haunt. They've got the Hero Spike. They landed on a White Mom. Get the kill there. Work over a Cuckoo. Timber chain forward. FBZ moving in. Again, heroes on T1 just don't really have the damage to kill the Timber.
I'm also liking the itemization on Timbersaw this time around. Not going for any greedy build. Thinking about the team more. Finishing that pipe, and now going back to Bloodstone, which is okay. Was thinking about getting the Guardian Greaves, but there's no Spirit Vessel. Nothing to really dispel in this game. So, like, pipe is really good against the magical damage that they got. We're gonna get a lot of it.
In the air, they stop that plan. Tornado comes through, hits on the 2. First spike also hits on. Every time you say filet stone,
Yeah.
it sounds like a yogurt. Filet.
Filet? Yeah. Sounds very classy. And he's the one keeping it, because Lion already has his Blink Dagger, so that's okay. 1 point in mana drain on Lion sometimes is a bit problematic, because you just don't get enough mana back.
Now they've got the Reaper Sight. The damage is so quick on a Dream Cell. They're for 75.
Those extra seconds coming up from the Reaper's side. 25 level 2 ulti is a lot, especially on a hero like a Spectre. So now they're gonna go inside the pit. Mental style done on Morphling will tank up some damage from the Roshan.
Drake will spot it. It's been expected for so long. This could be a problem. Awesome tornado, eating speed, all missing.
Like this is bot. This can be real. Like Necro's move speed is not 320 with the Faded Brooch, the old Scepter, and Power Trades. Definitely bot.
There's Spike Finger, Zephyr gone. They picked up the Aegis on to 23.
I like how you get the voice lines from the hero you morph into.
So do you get the voice lines based on the level you are on the heroes you morph into?
I'm not a morph player. I only play good heroes. The heroes that are fun to play. You know, the heroes that are not completely busted for 5 years in a row.
There's probably at least one.
So yeah, his movement speed is 280. So that move speed is bugged.
280. So it's
280 is starting. Yeah, so he gets 45 from Power Treads. So that gets him to 325. Faded Brooch is 20. Dual Scepter also gives 20. But yeah, for some reason it's bugged.
Onto the Centaur. Continue to try and jump. They've got the cold snap on him. Hookstock actually hit the timber as he was getting across. But Zephyr's still dead.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It does help to get the kill. KSQ 5 with a 3k lead from T1. Are Boom too far behind at the moment, or can they... What are the steps they need to bring this one back?
Like, they need to be able to control this Necro, possibly bait a Reaper side, because if they can still burst down the Spectre. Like, potentially, if they get a good jump with Lion on Necro, he is burstable with the Finger, with the couple of spells from the Timber Saw. Like, they can bring him down.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
T1's lineup wants to get in and out of the fights, like have these Fiery Souls up and running, Necro, getting the max out of the Heartstopper aura, Morphling, like he's the hero that wants to also be able to get in and out of the fights. Big item against the Timber Saw. The heals, like even against the Invoker. He decided to get Boots of Travel on Invoker, which is pretty surprising. You know, Boots of Travel Midas is super greedy.
Bottom tower has fallen.
Really know how much the Invoker is going to have impact with Midas P Travel to start. You're going to need next. You're going to need a little bit more time to really feel like you're outputting.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Tier 2 bottom, they go towards mid, they'll take a tier 1. Man, 23, he's the only one hitting it. Some of them aren't really doing it. Top 3 on the net worth are all cores on T1. Of course, it switches right as I say that. It's back to the 3rd spot. He's not the spot you want to be in, though. See the Invoker. Bottom of the cores. Yourself? Good spotted. He popped the blade now. He's hitting him. They've also caught the Morphling and taken on the Aegis. Still a minute left. Strike here, all coming down. Chaotic offering. Towards it. Oh, 23. Way too much across. Low depth hitting on a Cuckoo as well as Carl. Chocolate BKB. Carl. It takes out Mike, blows him up. Yeah, chase to the gun. But they got the kill there. FPC takes out Cuckoo. They'll look over at 23 to get the second life. They sort of now inspect the dagger. trying to TP away, and there's no
They
way to
got
stop
nothing
it.
to stop it. Timbersaw with a BKB does quite a lot. They have like no abilities that go through magic immunity other than the hook shot, and it's just a position 5 blocker, so you don't care too much about it. He wants to get a heart. I want him to get a shard. Like, shard is such a good pickup on the hero, especially if you have a BKB, so you can be in there, be very annoying. They got the kill on Morphling. There was still like 1 second left, 1 minute left on Aegis. Very burstable if they get the first jump with Lion.
But watch the chaotic offering come down, but waveform away. 23, timing it right, gets out of there. If he has shard here, like just throwing flamethrower as he's doing all this. See, 23 at least getting something.
It's all one damage from that shard, and now it also got a buff, so it works on the buildings. Doesn't deal full damage, but it's still. I think this is the one of the better ones. It's a top tier shard for sure.
I think it was one of the ones that I certainly.
Oh, Carl gets a double man
hit.
stun. Just right clicks him down.
Output a lot of damage. Cold staff, BKB forced.
She's too speedy. Boost of travel.
Actual
Stack from
movement
past
speed.
actual movement speed. You'll Scepter on top of that. And now going into Silver Edge wants to be able to break Spectre. You can break the Timbersaw. So not too bad of a pickup there. And you can also do this, what he just did. Play this kind of assassin on the side lane, especially with the boots of travel. The shard done on Vorlock. Unfortunately, he's not level 15 yet. You can also outpush the lanes as Vorlock right now if needed.
Buffs that Shadow Word, which he put all his points in. Okay.
After he finished 4 staff, they give back Fele to Lion, so he can farm his 4 staff. I like the this way of thinking, just the sharing. I get this, then I give it to you, you give me back. No censorship whatsoever.
In the air, LSA, Laguna Blade on the spot there. He's jumping around, trying to avoid everything. The hook shots in, Dreamcell low, Dreamcell falling. That's the second hero that we see go down one.
Just buying a bit of time. Throwing around with that haunt, going in and out. It was close. Like, if Hookshot does not connect, he gets out of that one.
It's now a 7k lead for T1. Roche about to be back up 10. See, this time can get into the Roche pit.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Let's see, the spawn might respawn in 3 seconds. Will be a long spawn, 2 minutes 15.
Radiant's
Now Morphling has a BKB, so he doesn't have to care about that Spirit Vessel. Most of the damage is actually magical. So with that BKB, like, Morphling should not die unless they get the first jump with the Lion Hex.
Silver Edge picked up for the Lina. Killing this. The last kill on Spectre didn't seem too difficult either. Jump, move over towards the triangle of the Dire side. Not towards Roche, which isn't up for a while, so they giving it away at the moment. Dreamcell trying to get the Scotty. And they're going to smoke again. They don't have Haunt to jump in with.
15 seconds. She will be able to join if they find some Carl. Silver Edge, Arcane Rune also available for another 25-30 seconds.
They're moving over, might be able to get kill FPC if he's not too careful. They're on the high ground waiting for him. Kind of understand that from where they've been on the map so far. Move forward and LSA comes up with being high FPC. Tornado flying through. Sunstrike outlands right on God. Give up one on FPC's. How deep can he be? Number 23. They've got a chaotic offering. He pops the man. He's got the BKB. He's trying to run away with himself. Away. The LSA lands on the Spectre. Right damage, is it enough? Got the break for the moment, but that's going to wear off before they're able to output the attack. They need to get the kill out of this Spectre. The super chain from FPC.
They should get more out of this.
Carl slowed it down. Super chain again, sticking with this Lina, but Lina's going to speed up and make the rest of the boom. Finally, they lost from behind to get the kill on the Carl.
Sunstrike. Ooh, he morphed. He morphed. They have no Lina for 70 seconds, no buyback on her. Roshan just respawned. Like, they don't have the Haunt. They do not have a Warlock ulti. No Finger, but they should still try to go in and at least force a buyback from Lina, which she doesn't have. But they try to poke and see what happens. Rocket will scout things out.
We need to have somebody standing where that hook shot might come from.
Radiant.
So much damage. Desolate illusions from Spectre.
That's where
Who's gonna block the hook shot? Centaur could potentially go in with the force staff.
Time blocking. They pick up the Aegis, and they've got the Earthspike. Spectre also picked up the Axe Shard and Cheese, so everything's secured there for Boom.
Let's see if he decides to use it or if he decides to give it to the Timbersaw. Spectre Shard is okay against certain lineups. They're gonna find Zephyr, so this should reveal the ward, anti-Tinker ward on the high ground. So Spectre still not consuming it. Mikoto already has a shard for himself, so does Warlock. A Lion shard is good, and he finally consumes it. Yeah, you can cast Dispersion on the hero that damaged you in the last 8 seconds. Like potentially jump on a Clockwork, he uses a rocket on you, and then suddenly you jump him, which is not that bad. This is big, like this is game changer, you know, having Spectre with Aegis, with the Cheese, so you need to be careful how you're gonna use that Reaper sight. Definitely not the target that you want to focus on right now. Also, I see Necroforce going into Eon Disc. Disc is fine against Lion, can be dispelled by Tornado.
They need to be careful about how they take this now from T1. They're up 3K, but honestly, the game feels even, or maybe even sided towards Boom with everything they've got at the moment.
Smoke from Boom. Warlock ulti ready in a couple of seconds.
So leading the charge. Expect that T recognize that if he's frontlining like that, he's probably got a team with.
That gets reflected via the Lotus Orb, and now Mikoto, he's gone to 23. 2 FPC drops, triple kill for 23. He goes to White Mom with a double stun on the Spectre. There's the break. Dream is starting to run. Attack is right clicks in. They've got the first light out of his hands. And
they also have this side, so they can take it down for a very long time.
Again, Reaper sight through, and he is killed for 2 minutes. It looks so good for Boom, and then all of a sudden 23 goes to the back lines, all off the reflection of the Earth Spike, and he turns it around, taking out these 2 heroes on Boom.
What a fight from T1. They managed buyback on a Necrofrost, like he instantly uses it. Also Lion bought back in the previous fight, so that's a dieback on him. Boom needs to protect their backlines. Like Morphling understanding of the game, like what Savage needs to do. He jumps the backlines, takes out the Lion. Also there was a good reflection, as you mentioned, with that Lotus on the Lion's Earth Spike. We're gonna see that again.
like playing on half HP, more playing with his build is super tanky, has a BKB, has Satanic. Satanic is a lot of damage. It's a 55 damage, it's also a dispel, it lasts for 6 seconds, undispellable. So even if you have like a spirit vessel on you, you pop that, you dispel it, and then you lifesteal. So new Satanic feels really good.
I picked up for them more right now.
Radiant's bottom
Really wanted to concede 2 sets of rats. Kiss cute. Trouble for a second.
She's gonna respawn in game number 3. It seems.
The fights are so close that I would say even with this lead, I'm not sure that T1 have it in the bag. The fight started with Cuckoo getting blown up. Doesn't have buyback on that one. Obviously the fight
Needs to be careful. I believe he bought the full Eon disc. Yeah, okay, so he will be able to get his items off, most likely. The Lotus, Yule Scepter, possibly even a mech. Daedalus down on Lina. Like, Lina right clicks are huge, and she hit level 25, 150 attack range on top of that.
word. Indo leveler. Tier 4s for T1 are go Prism right now for Boom.
Alina was thinking about a different neutral item, but holding the Paladin sword has a Morbid Mask. She'll also go into Satanic and have like this double life, the life leech against Spectre, against the Timber Saw. You can just stand your ground and take a fight. Invoker with this type of a build, like, where's damage coming from? He has 3 meteors, which is okay. Your spells are almost maxed out, but then again, you don't really have the right clicks.
Warlock. Love to see him have max out on the upheaval. On the
You sounded really disappointing there, like Warlock.
Yeah, I know. It's just we haven't really felt his presence this far. The chaotic offerings haven't been massive.
Yeah, there hasn't been that one. Wow, this Rock really split the fight. They won because of it.
Yeah.
No good up evils. Like, he still deals damage to the Shadow Ward. Timeless Relic. Okay, so let's see which one Invoker decides to keep. Timeless Relic also really good on Lion. Good on Warlock. Like, even Timbersaw, he's holding him to Cloak of Flames right now.
It's going hexes.
Flamethrower. Where's the Flamethrower?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I really want to see that shard. It'll up pretty soon. Aegis Cheese potentially an blessing. Shard. Which shard could be pretty big here for both teams. Reaper Scythe. Double with Laguna.
Lina doesn't rely so much on dealing the damage with Laguna. It's more about the right clicks.
Right yeah.
I think he would give it to possibly Necro.
Chain all the way through. Pop the BKB. Are we worth it?
Spectre, of course, finds Illusion Escape, because that's just how it is. If you have Spectre, if you have Phantom Lancer, I think there's a code in the game. Someone from Valve coded it and said, like, yeah, it has to be 100% drop rate.
Always feels good.
Radiant are scared.
They see that with the ward, T1 will start to back off. Roche, 37 seconds away. Easy, he doesn't have a BKB for 25 seconds. Want to be a little bit more careful than where he's standing forward on. saw in the last approach. It was a hook shot attempt to try and steal everything, but everything was picked up by the Spectre.
Lion still holding on to Philly, swapping through the and out. He feels like there's going to be a fight. Swaps in the Timeless Relic, longer duration stun.
Oh, wait
to be
for him,
careful.
trying to get him. C23, that's where the attention is. They go on a Kesku to get a kill immediately off the wall. Hex out on a 23. Taking out all of it, half of it. The Warlock, and that means T1 could go in a roach. They got a double damage on Carl too, so this is going to be a really quick one.
They can't contest it. It's Refresher. Let's see who decides to pick it up. Wolfman's running out of slots. He could be the one holding it. Refresher still in the pit. Lina picks it up in the end. Just a double BKB feels really good.
Hex on Invoker.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Tower has fallen.
Good question. I think you go all in. I think if you buy back, the fight's kind of already over. So with the Missile Blade, I feel like you can do so much more. And you might get the gold in the fight to be able to have a buyback. He needs 800, so if he gets like 2 kills, potentially it's a buyback.
Coming over. First stack flank. First stop misses. FBZ will survive. A lot of damage done on his Zephyr. And he's in a little bit too deep. They've got the Abyssal Blade. They'll use the chaotic offering. The no more to get the kill onto the Morphling. Dead has
No
Aegis.
shift.
They're going to move in though.
How can they stun him? They can't.
They can't. BKB. Ooh,
But the bashes, where's the bashes at?
Oh, they got the pin. 23's in trouble. Wait for him to try and leave. Morphs into the Timber Saw to McCain away, but that's going to be FBZ staying with. By the stun. Now the Hawks. Doing good head. They've got themselves a Chaos Meteor down. It doesn't look like enough skill. But they're looking. They were looking for BKB. He's going to be dead. First, on the side of T1. Taking out the Aegis. He does come back out. He has buyback. Once again, blame on time. They look over at Ugu, who uses that shroud. Trying to get out of here,
Scouting things out,
with him.
slowing them down.
Roadblock slows him up. Find themselves a they get the kill onto Zephyr. They take out 2, no buybacks used, but they've also got the Aegis out of the hands of T1.
Oh, man, what a throw by 23. He goes in, tries to take out Warlock. Now he's receiving the tips from his own team. Yeah. That wasn't too bright. All right. Yeah, like he tries to kill the Warlock in this situation. Like you don't know if Warlock has buyback. At the moment, he does. So, yeah, not really worth it. He thought he couldn't die. He could have potentially died a second time if Lion was close to use any of his abilities, like land the Earth Spike while you're respawning with Aegis. So, yeah.
They're going to try and force these buybacks. Wait for him again, but the Abyssal goes through on 3, so he stopped for a second. With the Hexers himself, deflected. Sword doing some work here. EM3's down. That is right on top. But these heroes coming back with buyback. They haven't expended any, and they hold the tier 3. They back away.
There's no need to rush things, like they didn't force any of the buybacks. Spectre getting closer to level 25, so that's going to be a big one. Working towards MKB, not the item that you want to see on Spectre. But yeah, in this situation, you need to get it. Morphling has that butterfly for a very long time, so you need to be able to pierce through it. Eon Disc done on Invoker. Also getting closer to his level 25.
Or together immediately.
He can be blown, like, depends. In certain situations, you might get blown up. But we'll see.
Just puts it together.
Yeah, it's safer. You know, at this point of the game, 45 minutes in, it's just better to leave it this way.
Right. So a long ways until the next road. But I don't know if we're going to be waiting that long. He's close to 25. Still no shot on that easy. Still wants that hex. We already have one on the Raging Lion and hex by the Invoker. We want the constant hexes up.
It's a possibility that they use hex into hex into hex and then back into hex, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So cooldown, stop waveform going in on FBC, but they have the damage. Word heal's not looking quite aggressive.
Because Lion hex is 4 seconds plus debuff duration, extra 25, so that's a 5-second hex.
Going in. Go for this to count the chaos offering tempo over at the center. They get to go to his feet, so he's going to be taken out of the fight and buy back immediately. They go to the Stampede, they're trying to equalize Zephyr, running away from FBC. So here comes the root on the target. Oh, whistling. 23 though, he gets the BKB off. Over to the side, Reaper side. Oh, Dreamacell, you're all
135. Like, they just split the fight. Once again, Savage goes in and takes out the Warlock immediately. Like, buys back. So Spectre will need to buy back here. They cannot hold this without Spectre. Like, the sooner you buy back, the better. But you can't still get anything out of it. Like, you can't go Roshan. You're just going to lose the barracks if you don't buy back.
Buyback tornado comes in. Try and go for this once again. They know the first thing is TV. They have expected that. They'll step from into the base. They've had the hex. They have the busy. They have the W. They kill on the 23. The radio deafening button. Another hex. What about hex? He got him into the waveform. Oh!
That was so close. Like, they needed to get that kill.
They look over at Whitemon with such anger since his name is in 23.
They get Whitemon. They got something, but they needed to get a bigger kill. Like, they needed the kill in there. It's a rough one, you know. Maybe they overlap the hexes a little bit because they have 2 right now. Alliance hex lasts for 5 seconds. We're gonna see that one again. Unfortunately for them, he got the shift off.
Tornado's in. EMP.
And a good force. Like, they use the force staff to push him in.
Deafening blast the hex. The force staff. Saved him.
Sometimes it's all it takes. They have 2 force staffs, 1 clockwork, 1 on a centaur.
Always buy your support items.
Spectre holding onto gem right now. No, she's running out of items. Like, she needs to be able to give that gem to someone else and just buy out the items, buy that demon edge. Have the MKB still, not that close to it. Dire, they're using a scan, but they only found the illusion inside the pit.
Double damage top. Timely. It's in.
23, he does not have Boots of Speed, holding on to Spell Prism, holding on to Leveler, holding on to Ninja Gear. He's just swapping all the items. A lot of status, status resistance from Sanjiasha could make a difference, so I'm not surprised he decided to go that as like 6th item.
Yeah, minimum time about
just getting the maximum volume out of the neutral items. Like, for the fight, Spell Prism is good, lowering the cooldowns. He can also smoke himself and be able to find one of the supports, ideally Warlock, because he does not have buyback at the moment. And if they go for the high ground push, if they go for the buildings, use the Leveler.
So, Spectre picks up the double damage. Roche is a long one. Unfortunately, we're right there, ready to go with the double damage.
23 smokes himself. Smoke. Pop. He's also holding a casual Titan Sliver. Maybe I need a bit more status resistance. If I get initiated on, try to swap it in. Could make the difference.
To FBZ. We're right there. Tar Horn. Well, the hoof stomp. Stampede right off the bat. Zephyr, you just see him. Like, he's locking eyes with FBZ. Go completely well. The flip side, he gets heads immediately. The Stampede is right on top of the insert phone. Top of the BKB, the wave going on to the back side. They've got the Chaos offering that hits on the 23. You're coming down the Zephyr.
Lines with the Laguna Blade hitting it, and the Silver Edge there to break him. They take out the Timber, no buyback on him.
Oh man, what a fight. If they somehow manage to lock him down there and kill him one more time, now he used the buyback, and I think it would be a different fight if they used the outpost on the bottom, since he would have nothing to TP to. Radiant is controlling the northern outpost, so can't TP there, no boots. He put the, what's it called, the one that smokes you item?
Ninja Gear.
Ninja Gear, yeah, to get some extra movement speed out of it, get closer to the fight. But if they control the bottom outpost, I think this fight is completely different. He doesn't show up, Necro dies, possibly Invoker lives there without having to use the buyback.
Pro is holding on to the Ag's Blessing. Hasn't used it yet. You've also got pressure on Carl, picks up a Wind Waker. That's another way to save 23 again. Hook shot from Lightmon.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Able to use that Spectral Dagger to weave his way out of that one.
This Wind Waker, like they initiate on Morphling who has cages. This is mega creeps. So we'll see. You know, if they get a good initiation, you can always save them with that Wind Waker. And now,
dealing with the fact that he had just won back shard. He's also devouring that a little bit of the glyph, the tier 4s, trying to hold on, and now they've got all 5 heroes. You know, down 23. Run, Spectre Dagger, load the hex, continue back next to the Lotus, so they've got the captain right at the top of 23. He'll waveform away.
Overlapping their abilities. There's a hex plus a tornado.
And just for Ted, doesn't have that chaotic offering yet. Bloodborne for Makoto.
This is one way to, you know, if someone is isolated with the Bloodthorn, 2 or 3 heroes focuses, whoever, like the hero is gonna die. Maybe like a nullifier also would not be a bad idea on one of the heroes to just able to proc those on this. Remove it, dispel it, deal with the Ghost Shroud. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Because they have 1, 2 of those. Have a Ghost Shroud on top of that. Like you can dispel the Wind Waker. I think Spectre should change their mind and sell the Power Treads. Possibly get that dispel mechanic buyback in 45 seconds.
Leveler, Ninja Gear, BKB on the backpack, holding onto the Titan Sliver. The Lotus Sword preemptively, up through this one down. Hard to make a move. You see how close the Lina is. The Wind Waker is going to be ready to go. Jump. Dagger away on the Kesku. He's been the focus. They don't want to get that chaotic offering. He's starting to feel it. Back into the Spectre, and the Proto coming over.
Mega Creeps coming in.
The base got themselves here quite fast. They doesn't do enough damage to this Timber. That BKB. You look over it high. Already got for 100. Rifles coming out for 23. It's just not enough here. Blue side of him. They lose the Timber saw. He will buy back immediately. Mega Creeps invading the base. Survive here, 23's been hacked up, the elephant six. They've got the Spectre, but look at the crew stick in the base. They have to stop them, the creeps are coming overwhelmed, and they maybe shooting their box on the 23. But they need to stop these creeps, they need to stop the leader. We've finished all the game at Team 1. It's even at 1 on what was a close back and forth between both these teams.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes, you know, very entertaining game.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they, like, you've seen it so many times on 23 Savage, they use the hacks.